thought Troy played well. I thought he played well, man. I'm obviously go back and watch him a little bit more of a deep dive on him, man. But I thought he played really well. Obviously with Broderick, man, I wonder how healthy is he. It's not like he forgot how to play football. He started there multiple games last year and did just fine. It was arguably our best lineman. So the whole narrative that he's so out of position and that's why he's regressed in this, like, I don't buy that. I talked about some of the effort questions that I had in the preseason. But watching him yesterday, I think confidence and I think health might be more at play. When you see him all taped up the way that he is, I'm like, we even heard when he talked to the media that one time when he asked him,
I don't even know why we put him out there. That was the stupidest decision ever.
But if the conversation from him is I'm healthy and I'm still going to go and give you my all, and up until yesterday he had been the starter, for him, he's like, hey, bro, I ain't about to try to be sitting about this lineup. So I think that's why he kind of agreed to it. Clearly, Troy has been kicking a lot more booty in practices than we saw in that one preseason game because, yeah, he looked good. I was like, all right, this straight. This works. Like, that was part of my skepticism because I hadn't seen it look better than what we saw the last time we saw him in a stadium.
Yeah.
But I thought that he played well. For Broderick, I was like, I just feel like for health, like, man, take some time. Get back healthy because you're a way better player than that. Agreed. Obviously, the self-inflicted wound, not the holds, because I'm like, holding happens. And it's like, yeah, you want to be better than that, and you will. But holding, it happens. To me, my issue was the false start. I'm like, bro, you compounding your issues now. Because it's like, man, a false start, that's lack of communication. That's us not on the same page, taking the information from the huddle to the line of scrimmage. The whole, it's like, man, you can have a bad match, you could slip, a lot can take place for the whole, but it's just like, I just want to see you locked in more. And then from there, just like the confidence went down in the tools. Obviously, Coach T, had to take him out after the 51-yard. He gets called back, and he talks to him. I like what Coach T did in terms of going there and kind of like giving him the heart-to-heart, because being in them situations, if you play this game long enough, you'll be in it. It happens. Everybody gets pulled at some point, man, and then you get back out there at some point. This is the opportunity for him to come back. This opportunity for him to, see what he does in adversity. We've seen some people, they run from the adversity. Hopefully for Broderick, and I think he will. I think he's going to run to it, man. But I think he has to get healthy first, though. Like, watch him, he just feel like the arm is off.
And that's what I'm just wondering, how are we doing the right thing by handling him the way that we are? And even aside from the whole position stuff, it's like this dude's clearly limited with his whole elbow stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're deciding to go with Troy Fautanu over him for this game. Yeah, it's an interesting decision, but just make that decision. Don't do this whole thing where, okay, we're going to have Fautanu out there a couple series and put Broderick in there, because they decided on doing that before the game.
I saw that, yeah.
I was like,
it was awkward.
Even before it happened, I was like, no, you just don't do this. This is so stupid. It's different if you decide Fautanu is going to be the guy and he struggles. Yeah. You say, okay, we got to pivot. Let's put Broderick out there. But automatically deciding, no matter what happens, we're going to rotate these dudes. No matter how Fautanu is playing, we're going to get Broderick in there. It's so stupid. There's no reason to take Fautanu out after those first two series. He's playing good.
I think
and if Broderick is hurt, like, why do that?
The thought process behind it, though, was Troy hadn't played in a game since the first preseason game where he played 3 series and then he got hurt. So I think from their perspective, they're saying, you're on the road, you're in Denver playing at altitude, you haven't played, you were hurt. So what is your conditioning look like? What is your skill going to look like? And you're a rookie about to make your first NFL start. What does that look like? And with Broderick, I wonder how much of the respect element played into them even saying, yeah, we're going to rotate you in there. Because clearly, if we're just looking at them from a health perspective, Troy looks a lot more healthy than Broderick. But I just think if you're Broderick coming into last week, was he going to communicate that, nah, I can't go, I don't want to go, or you starting him like, let me sit? Nah, as a competitor, you're going to want to play. And I think for his perspective, obviously hindsight's 2020. When you go out there and play bad, we're like, yo, man, you should never went out there. If he would have played well, though, now it's a different conversation.
What we got with that. I think we just deserved that. I think it was a very, very terrible approach to the situation. There was one more thing I wanted to say. Oh, with Broderick, though, what's interesting to me is he said after Like, were you frustrated about how things played out? And he was like, no, not frustrated, but I do feel like if I'm not starting, like, I shouldn't be out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was just giving respect to a Fautanu. It's like, when you start the game, you start to get
start
into a rhythm. Like, don't have me come in there and mess it up. Like, I'm a man. I can handle being on the bench. Mm-hmm. But he also did say, I'll do whatever the team needs me to do. We're trying to win games out here and everything. I think he handled it really good. Mm-hmm. But to me, hearing that response, I'm just wondering to myself, like, Broderick probably would have just been fine with them saying it's going to be Fautanu.
Honestly, he probably would have been. But that's what I'm saying from a coach perspective. They probably had respect for Broderick and still wanted him involved. But also because of this being a rookie, Troy, who hadn't played in a game since the preseason.
Then I'm just wondering why I started him to begin with.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like what he was showing in practice had to have been that clear cut. And not this week in practice. I'm talking back in training camp. It had to be clear cut that he was that much better. Otherwise, you're not making this move. And that's kind of what I alluded to last week when we talked about when the first report came up that Troy took the reps from Broderick. It was like, bro, the only way you're doing that is if Broderick is compromised or Troy has been that good in training camp. And if that was the case, because we don't see all of that, we're not evaluating the same way that the coach staff in terms of getting that film. So if they felt that, then it made perfect sense why they would put him out there ahead of him. But we don't have those answers right now. But that's the only two things that I could kind of look at. And I think it's still more of Troy was playing that much better because, once again, if you're worried about Broderick being injured and he's compromised, why even put him out there? You would have never rotated him in.
But that's my thing. I just go with that then. Like, we know more than what you guys know from the outside. Mm-hmm. We're going to go with Fautanu here. Like, this is our decision. Yeah. Even though it's curious, it's kind of weird how we handled this whole situation. We're going with Fautanu. Yeah. We're just going to do it. And you guys can deal with it. And if he doesn't play good, then we'll put Broderick in. But this is the decision. It's not like this is preseason. Like, who does this? Who does this? This isn't preseason where, he'll get 2 series, he'll get 2 series. Who does this in a regular season game?
Listen, you rotate edge rushes, you rotate running backs, you might rotate receivers. You don't rotate with linemen, bro.
You don't do that with linemen. You don't do that with quarterbacks. With your
quarterback, no, I'm say, you don't rotate. They always stay put, bro.
Sean Payton's not saying we're going with Bo Nix for 2 series, then we're going to go with Zach Wilson for 2 series.
Or this is our running quarterback.
No, this is our quarterback.
This is our passing quarterback. Like, no.
This is our quarterback. No. All right, if he sucks, then maybe we will put the backup in. But going into this game, we have all intentions of him playing the whole game. Like, we're designing this for him to be the starter, or we're designating him to be the starter. And that's it. Just make that decision. And then if things change in the game, then you can make decisions then. But man, I just thought it was stupid. I thought that was really stupid. We deserved the Broderick Jones series.
How do you see things going forward, though?
I think it's Fautanu. He played good. And I agree with you, too. I think Broderick just ain't right.
So when Broderick is healthy, what do you do with him?
You see how Dan Moore's playing. You see how both the tackles are playing.
That's tough. That's tough.
What, just sitting Broderick?
It's tough.
Hey, the Steelers put themselves in the spot. Because this isn't how I would have handled it to begin with.
It's the first rider from a year ago who played well all of last year.
Here's how I would have done it. I would have said, Troy, we know you're going to be our right tackle, so we're going to have you over there. Broderick, we know you're going to be our left tackle long term. Let's bump you over here. We still have Dan Moore for another season at least. He's one more under contract, so you guys do get out for left tackle. But Broderick, you're going to be taking all the snaps at left. The crazy part is, though, maybe it's all a mute point anyway because Troy got hurt and we would have had to bump Broderick over to right for the regular season anyway. But that's how I would have handled it.
Yeah, man. This is going to get real weird. Unless Dan starts playing really, really bad or is unavailable, this could get weird, man. Because, them both first rounders. But, Dan's been consistent enough. He's been good enough. Not great.
Absolutely.
But good enough. Part of why you draft what you draft, but why both of them dudes are at right competing versus come over here and start at left.
Now, to me, it's not the end of the world. I don't know how Broderick's going to take it. I think, based off his post-game interview, he's handling this really well. Ike Taylor got benched in his second or third year after being a starter.
Deke, if you play this game long enough, man,
and he came back very strongly, became one of our best corners in Steeler history. So I don't think this is the end of the world for Broderick if he ends up sitting the rest of the season. I would assume, unless Dan Moore plays at an all-pro level, that we're going to move on from Dan Moore, and Broderick, you're going to be slotted over to be our starting left tackle for year 3.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume. But, yeah, I think you have to stick with Dan Moore and Troy. They're just better right now.
And the crazy part is, though, if Dan keeps playing how he's playing and we don't get a chance to see that Broderick again, it's like, man, how confident and comfortable are you to allow somebody that you've already seen start at that position and kind of be straight over there?
I'd say you franchise tag him and trade him.
So what I'm saying is this, though. Either way, you're going to go into that next season without him on your roster at all. Whereas up until this point, we haven't seen Broderick even play left and consistently do it. At one point, we said he looked really good at right. Now everybody's acting like he can't play right tackle because he started to play bad this year. Think about that.
I'm with you. I think he's more hurt than.
That's what I look at. I'm like, he's definitely more injured than the ability, because I can't unsee the games that we saw all of last year. Tell me when he looked like this last year, man. Preseason, he looked bad, but it was more of an effort thing, not the skill and the not, looking like Broderick type thing.
Agreed.
Yeah, get healthy, man. Gotta get healthy.
I would go with Fields and Troy, though, back to the 100% healthy. I'm rolling with Fields. I'm telling Russ, your calf ain't right still.
See, he's 100% healthy. 100% healthy.
I'm telling Russ his calf ain't right, even if it is 100% healthy. I'm saying, you need another week. You're not ready yet.
Unlimited. Take you and the petty ball. Come on. I need it. Sling this joint.
I need this Fields versus Herbert showdown.
Today's show is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, the top-rated sportsbooking app in all of North America. Safe, secure, reliable, which we absolutely do love. And we know whenever we're talking DraftKings, man, it's a fresh NFL season started, baby. So we got to have promo codes that hook you up both ways, okay? So for all my new customers out there, when you download the app and you go ahead and you make that initial deposit of $5, you're going to use the promo code. The promo code is MOST. Once you put that in, you're going to receive $250 in bonus bets along with 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. I mean, come on, baby. It doesn't get any better than that. Opportunity to win, opportunity to follow your squad, watch them do what they do, road home. I mean, it's a pretty dope set. It's a pretty dope situation right there, all right? But we also know that, hey, man, sometimes you get lost in the sauce. Sometimes you might develop what we call a gambling problem. Well, if you're living in New York, you know it's a number that you could text. But for everybody else, the digits to dial are 1-800-GAMBLER.